Today we're using not one but two decks of cards, and this trick is all about random numbers and random cards. And we're going to try something with these two decks. First of all, we are going to ask you for a random number, and we'll come to the cards in a moment. Now, so that you don't forget, if you can write down your lucky number. Okay, now because we're using 52 cards, maybe a number that's between 1 and 52. It could be your birthday or a friend's birthday if you think I know what yours is. So if you want to write down your lucky number, and just keep hold of that as a receipt just in case you forget later on. So we'll leave that with you. Now let's move on to the cards. Two decks of cards. If you can help me with these, we got a blue deck. Let me just show you these. Okay, blue deck and an identical pack, but these are in red. Okay, we seem to have a card stuck in there. And that's it. So what we got is a red deck of cards. Now you'll notice that they're not in new deck order. They have been used, so they're in a pretty shuffled state. And here's the blue deck, just regular 52 cards. Now I'm going to get you to choose a card randomly from one of these packs, and I do want you to have a fair choice of one of these decks. Which one would you like to use now, and which pack would you like to put into your pocket? It's your choice, and this is an absolute free choice by the spectator. Now let's say they choose the blue, so you want those to go in your pocket. Grab those and put those away in your pocket. Now what I'm going to get you to do is to pick a card from the other pack, the red pack, not by me dealing them down like this, but by you cutting the cards. But before we do that, I do want to just show you the cards that we've got here. Okay, and you can see that they're all pretty much in a randomized order. The red deck is what you chose, not me. You chose the red cards. What I'd like you to do is to reach over and just cut the cards anywhere you like. Okay, happy with that? We'll just mark where you cut because we're going to come back to those in a moment. You've now chosen two things that are random, a card and a number. I couldn't have known either of those. Remember the pack that you chose to put in your pocket before we started. Can you remove them and put them on the table? Here are the cards untouched by any human hands. Well, for the last 2 minutes anyway. We're going to use your random number to locate a random card in here. What was the number you chose again? 21. Let's just confirm it for everyone. You chose 21 on here. We're going to deal down 21 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Will you agree that that is the 21st playing card out of all of these random cards? I couldn't have known that number. I certainly couldn't have known that you would have cut to this particular card here. But if we take a look at the randomness that we've arrived at, we have a perfect pair. The trick you've just seen performed, I think, is an absolutely outstanding effect to the layman. To magicians, you probably know how this works already. It is very simple to do and to set up. All you require are two full decks of cards. There's 52 cards here, 52 cards here. Watch if I do this and do this, you're going to probably notice something here. 2 kings, 2 queens, 7, queen, king, jack. Do you see how it is? Each deck is laid out in exactly the same, card for card. There's the king, the 9. There's the king and 9. What you do is you take one of the decks, you shuffle them up, mix them up thoroughly, and then you lay the other deck out in identical running order. That's the only stack. It's nothing special, it's just that both of them have got to be identical in sequence. Okay, so that's how the pack begins life, and that's why at the beginning of the trick where you say they can pick any pack, really push that, because that's a good selling point, that they will go away thinking, well, I had a choice of any one of those to put in my pocket. Do make sure that it's not given the impression that it's a magician's choice. They did have a free choice. Because both packs are the same, it doesn't matter which they choose. Let's put the blue to one side and use the red. When they choose a number at the beginning, say if they said it was 13 as their lucky number. Now you can put that to one side and we'll come back to that. When you pick up this pack to go through, one thing you're going to do is to find the 13th card from the top of the pack. There's the top. So as I go through, now what have I done to make it easy? And this is a great little hint here for you if ever you're doing tricks similar to this. And that is, when you need to find a location, use some locators. Look what I've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a locator. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Do you see what I'm doing here? If you look in this pack, at every 10th position I've put a 10 value card. That makes my life a lot easier when I'm performing, because when someone tells me it's 13, when I show them the cards, what I'm doing is looking for my 10, and then I know that the 13th card is that one here. Now I need to get this on top of the pack. All you do is, once I've found that, I split the pack, and if you watch the performance, naturally as you've done that, you're showing the cards, you know that that's the card you've got to force, because you know that the 13th card in this blue deck is going to be the exact duplicate of this. So as I'm going through looking for my marker card, 10, 11, 12, 13, I found it. I want that 13th card on top of the deck. You may have a different way of doing it, but all I do is, as I go through, I say, you can see the cards are just regular. You chose the red cards. Notice I'm just telling you, you chose the red cards, and I put this top on top here. The card that I want is on top. It doesn't matter how you achieve this. You may have a much better method than I'm showing you here, but this is straightforward, simple. There's no worrying factor there. We've now got everything set. I need to force this card onto a spectator. Now you'll notice in the routine I did one of the oldest card forces known to magician. It's called the cross-cut force, as well as other various names, but we know that this is the card we're going to force. You get a spectator to cut the cards like that. You don't then just dive straight here and say this is a card you cut to, because they know that's the top card. When they cut the cards, you say, I'll tell you what, we'll come back to these in a moment. You pick up the lower half and you cross them across there and just push that to one side, and then start talking about the cards in their pocket. They will remove the cards. You tell them about the randomness of the number, the card chosen, etc. Now, by the time you come back to this, they would have forgotten that the card that you've actually got there is the original top card. Most magicians kind of frown upon this because they think it's so obvious, but trust me, it's still used a lot today and people just don't realise, providing you've got this time lapse between doing that and coming back to it. Okay, now when I lift this up, I say just slide that card you cut to out. There it is there. They've actually taken the false card. Put it down on the table. The spectator can do this themselves. They can deal the cards down, face down or face up to their lucky number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It'll work every time because both decks are identical in layout. Try this, it really is a strong effect. So many things are going on here. They chose one of the packs. They chose a number that you couldn't possibly have known. And they cut to a card randomly. And everything comes together for the perfect pair.